Mr. Batten.
Thank you, Mr. President. I've got a point of order, please, under Rule 22, and in particular Rule 5.4 and 38, regarding the rights and freedoms of MEPs and our rights to information. On Wednesday, the 8th of November, I was one of a small group of UK MEPs asked to meet the UK House of Commons EU Exiting Committee. We were going to have a short meeting, but that was cut even shorter when Mr Guy Verhofstadt refused to enter the room until the other UK MEPs had left. Mr Hilary Benn, the chairman of the committee, reluctantly had to ask us to leave. The behaviour of Mr Verhofstadt contravened the rules I quoted and was deliberately obstructive for an exchange of views between MEPs and UK MPs. Now, I would like to ask you, I'm going to write to you separately, but I would like you to ask you to take steps to have Mr Hofstadt removed as the Parliament representative in the Brexit negotiations and replaced by somebody impartial. Thank you.
Mr. Corbett.
Mr. President, with respect, what we have just heard is totally inaccurate. The House of Commons Committee on Brexit was indeed in the European Parliament and conducted a series of meetings with British members from the different parties, with Mr Verhofstadt and the Brexit team, and with others. They did not indeed allow participants in one meeting to stay on to listen to what happened in the next of their meetings. That is perfectly reasonable and normal. To complain that Mr Batten could not stay on for the next one of their meetings is distorting what was actually at stake. What happened was perfectly normal, proper practice, decided by the House of Commons, which they pretend to respect the sovereignty of, and clearly have no respect whatsoever for the workings of the House of Commons. Thank you.
Onorevole Coburn, ha parlato, si siede, onorevole Coburn, per favore. Mr. Coburn.
Grazie, President. Grazie, Signor Presidente. Governor Jerry Brown came here and gave us an interesting talk, but we all made our contributions. I made mine, and I was looking forward to seeing it on the Parliament's TV thing. Sadly, I was excluded, as was Mr Lundgren, and also Stephen Wolf, I believe, was also excluded. And it gave rather the impression that the entire Parliament favoured the CO2 method of global warming. Now, that really isn't the case, and it makes it look as if the Parliament is being managed. Now, I know you, sir, and one of the reasons I voted for you, and I think you're a good man, is that you promised to protect minority views, and I know that you do. Perhaps you haven't seen this, but it's bad if they put out propaganda that doesn't look as if it represents all the views, sir. So I'd like to bring that to your attention. Thank you very much, sir.
Prego. You have the floor. Honourable Foster.
Thank you very much, President. Just a point of clarification, if I may. I was present at the meeting when the House of Commons committee came to talk to us, and actually our colleague across the chamber is not correct, because the chairman of that committee, Hilary Benn, was quite relaxed about the MEPs who were present, who we'd had a brief discussion before with, about them remaining in the meeting with Mr Verhofstadt. So that is just a point of clarification. The House of Commons committee, led by Hilary Benn, were quite happy for the MEPs, including the British ones, to be present at the next meeting. It was Mr Verhofstadt, it's obviously his choice, who had decided or determined that the MEPs should not remain. I will leave you with that thought. Thank you very much.
Bene, passiamo alle votazioni, non dobbiamo fare un... Okay, let's move on to the votes. I don't really want to have a whole debate on what's happened. Please. We can't have a debate on this. I've understood what the issue is. There's no point talking about it. If it's something else... Please.
Mr President. It's point of order under Rule 38. I actually have learnt that Mr Barnier met with the GUI yesterday to discuss Brexit. He has made no effort at all to speak with the EFDD as a group. Now, you know that Verhofstadt has excluded all Eurosceptic groups from the Brexit Steering Committee. Please instruct them to include all MEPs in their discussions. If we don't have the information, we cannot express an opinion, and then that's a restriction of our rights. Thank you.
Colleagues, please, let's not have a debate on this. I fully trust Mr Verhofstadt, as does the vast majority of the House, and I agree with that position.